I'm Shahida and I will be presenting about microbreaks and cognitive performance. So imagine a scenario: you're sitting at an office job responding to emails or even organizing spreadsheets, and in between those hours, you decide to spare a few minutes here and there to help relax from those mentally stimulating tasks. The example described to you was something known as microbreaks, which are short break periods ranging from 30 seconds, 5 minutes, or even 10 minutes, all intended to help you recover from activities requiring cognitive load. But why does all this matter? Well, a point is raised in Albalescu et al.'s 2022 study investigating the efficiency of microbreaks, stating that there needs to be a balance between work and your well being because spending too much time on tasks causes us to feel burnt out, and we don't want that. Hunter and Wu's 2016 study, which observed how microbreaks influence the energy of workers, suggested that future research is needed to examine the dynamic between frequency of breaks and work performance. This leads to the research question within this true experiment on whether there is an ideal duration of microbreaks that best improves people's performance and feelings, where the hypothesis predicts that a 5-minute break is more optimal in improving performance and feelings compared to a smaller break like 40 seconds. The experiment will begin by recruiting 90 employees from a workplace. In this instance, it would be an office job where each participant will complete the same typing activity for 1 hour. They'll be placed in a lab condition to limit external factors like noise distractions or lighting, which could be potential confounding variables, and we want to eliminate that from the experiment. At this point, they'll be randomly assigned into spending a 5-minute micro break, a 40-second micro break, or no breaks at all. In other words, the control group. Note that for the experimental groups, these breaks will be given every 15 minutes until the 1 hour is complete. Additionally, they will undergo the same microbreak activity where they'll simply divert their attention from the task through mind wandering. Now, accounting for the dependent variables, there'll be two variables measured: rate of error and self-reported fatigue. Participants' self-reported fatigue will be delivered through a questionnaire both before and after the experiment, with ratings being given on a 5-point scale, where 0 basically means the question is least relevant to them and 5 indicates the opposite. The questions could be something along the lines of how motivated are you to complete this task, and if a participant responded with 5, that would obviously indicate that they were highly engaged in completing the activity. To justify the design being a true experiment, remember that the research question wanted to explore whether there is a optimal timing of microbreaks, which would lead to better performance and feelings of workers. This would establish a causal relationship between microbreak lengths and the performance levels alongside self-reported fatigue of the participants. By manipulating the independent variable, random assignment, and control of external factors like being placed in a lab setting, there would be stronger evidence to claim that the difference in performance or fatigue is related to the timing of breaks and not a confounding variable. This relates to the importance of the independent variable being the timing of microbreaks and not something like the type of microbreak activity, as that is not the focus of the research questions. Not controlling for factors like microbreak activity or even the setting of the experiment would impact the internal validity of results, as a confounding variable is introduced, making it plausible to state that the microbreak activity improved performance instead of the duration of the break, or it was actually noise distractions that increased self-reported fatigue. And for the dependent variables, it would be appropriate for there to be both an objective and subjective measure, as it's something that correlates to not only the research question, but it's accurate in representing a real-world environment, like, as stated before, a busy office job, where the level you perform at and the level you feel may be completely different, thereby also accounting for external validity, where typing tasks and variations in reported fatigue are applicable to a job scenario. For internal validity, having conditions be kept the same would ensure that differences in rate error and self-reported fatigue would be linked to the independent variable and no other causes. Ensuring the reliability of the independent variable and dependent variable was also considered by having the typing task, environmental setting, and the 15-minute intervals be consistent for all participants.